Hello, I'm Charlotte and this is Books and Bargains. As you may or may not know, June is International Pride Month, and I'm not saying that you should only read queer books in June, but it is a push to get some queer books out of your collection and onto your TBR. I have decided I am going to do this yearly. I am a proud bisexual woman myself, something that I've only realised in maybe the last year or so, or at least admitted to myself, but that's beside the point. What I'm hoping to do is every year film this list of all the queer books that I have read and enjoyed in the last 12 months. So this first one is going to be just everything that I've read and enjoyed since I've been on BookTube. So settle in, grab yourself a drink and let's go. The first two books are the only adult books that I have read this year with queer rep, which is a little bit disappointing. So I'm hoping that by this time next year I can read some, I like quite fluffy like Heidi Swain type chick lit, but I'd really like that with a gay couple who are just gay. Like give me male, women, or bisexuals, give me any of them. Just put them running a cafe in Devon somewhere, okay? Anyway, so the first one I'm going to talk about is Take a Hint, Dani Brown. And you know that I love the Brown sisters books. I have banged on about them enough. And Dani Brown is bisexual. One thing I do wish is that we had a bit more. So in all of the Brown sisters books there are some great steamy scenes. And I just wish we'd have had some woman on woman steamy scenes from our resident bisexual Dani Brown, but we didn't. But I still love the book. And my second adult book is actually a proof copy that I had, and that is The Secret of You and Me by Melissa Leindhart. You'll have to bear with me, I generally don't remember characters' names. I read that many books, but I remember, oh, it says on the back, Nora and Sophie in this book. And this is a kind of going back to a small town that didn't accept your sexuality years and years later, and it really got to me, this one, so I've had to bring that one in here. I'm now going to move on to middle grade and then through to YA, as there's some that are kind of in the middle that I kind of think, depending on the level of the person reading it, could go all the way from kind of very young through teenage years up to adult. So yes, but before I jump into the middle grades, I just want to share with you two books that I don't have physical copies of. One that is on pre-order and another one that I'm just looking out for my own copy of. And the first is Liz Kessler's Read Me Like a Book. I found this on Music Magpie just out of nowhere when I was looking for books for the Irish Readathon. I don't think Liz Kessler's even Irish, so I don't know why it recommended it to me. But this book is the kind of book that I needed to read when I was 16 or 17. And it's not just about this girl discovering her sexuality with a crush on her English teacher. It is also about friendship and family, and it just read it. And then the other one is Pizza Girl. Now, the only way that I can describe Pizza Girl, this is the one that I have got pre-ordered and I'm just waiting for my copy to arrive. It's been out in Kindle and hardback for ages, but I'm a paperback collector, and this is a bit of a gay convenience store woman story. So yeah, I'm trying to do these quite quickly because I've got a lot of books to get through, but if you want any more detail on anything, just let me know in the comment. Now, one that I read this year and absolutely bloody loved and gave 5-star is The List of Things That Will Not Change by Rebecca Stead. What I like about this book is that we start off straight from the beginning knowing that B's dad is getting married to his partner. So there's no kind of big coming out story in this one. It is just that they've decided to get married, and B is a young girl, just kind of, she knows that her family's changing, and when her parents decide to split up, they made her write a list of things that won't change. And one of the things I think is like, your mum and dad both love you so much. And it was just, just such a good book, and it also had really great anxiety rep in this and also really great eczema rep, which I've never seen in a book before. The next book is Benjamin Dean's Me, My Dad and the End of the Rainbow, and this has been all over BookTube, so I'm sure you've heard about this one before. This is again a middle grade, and we join Archie who overhears that his dad is gay, and he decides to do something which I don't know, is it? See, it's not on the blurb what he decides to do, but every other booktuber I've heard talk about it says that Archie does this thing, but I wish I hadn't have known that. But once he finds out, he just wants to do something to show his dad that he understands and he cares, and he ends up going out on quite a big adventure, and I'm going to leave it at that. The next book is The Deepest Breath by Meg Grehan, and this is definitely one that is Irish and queer. This is a novel in verse about a young girl, Stevie. It says she doesn't know all about all the fish in the sea, and she doesn't know why she feels this way about Chloe, and it's about first crushes and how she realises that her crush is on a girl rather than a boy, and I really enjoyed that. The next two books are part of a series, and also what the title of this video is based on, and that is The Paper and Heart Society by Lucy Powrie. Lucy Powrie is a booktuber. I will link her channel down below, and I just finished reading last night Read with Pride, and I bloody loved this. So I can tell you about both of them without really giving spoilers. I presume that these can be read as standalones because there's minor spoilers, like things that happen in the first book happen in the second, but I think they'd make fantastic stories on their own. And Read with Pride, that I've just finished, is about a school who have decided that to take out queer books from the library, you'll need your parents' permission. This is based on a complaint they've had from a parent. And also all the books have got like warning queer romance on the front. And our group decide that that's unfair, and this diverse cast of characters decide to fight against it. The next book I am sure you've heard of, and that is Adiba Jaghiderer's The Henna Wars. I have also pre-ordered her next book, which is Hanny and Issue's Guide to Fake Dating, which has come, and I really want to pick it up straight away, but I've got some other books on the go at the moment. But anyway, this book was brilliant. This is a enemies to lovers, although is it really enemies to lovers? This is a book about a Bangladeshi girl who comes out as a lesbian to her parents, and it's not even that they're not happy with it, they just kind of refuse to acknowledge it and tell her that she needs to change her mind. And this book is so good at weaving all these kind of complex themes through it without being while still being an easy read, if that makes sense. They are doing for business studies at school a stall, and there's just so much about cultural appropriation and love and friendship and families, and yeah, love that. The next book is my #1 read of the year so far, and that is Full Disclosure by Camryn Garrett. What I can remember about this one is that it is sex positive. Our main character has HIV, so it's a great disability rep, and it's one of the few books that just got everything so spot on. So not only does it have black rep, it has lots of different queer rep, and it's just all so, I mean, I know that there's going to be in YA, there's going to be coming out stories, but I like reading stories that the gay characters are just there, like it's not a big part of the plot. And yeah, this was brilliant. Oh my god, looking at this pile, I really need to hurry up. The next one is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevado. Again, the queerness of our character is not a big plot point in this. She just has a girlfriend. The main things about this are grief and loss, and how do you find out who you are when there's so many secrets that you didn't know. The next book is YouTube's own darling George Lester with Boy Queen. This is my proof copy. I'll put the finished copy here because it is beautiful and I definitely need to get my hands on it. This is the first book that I've read with drag representation and bloody loved it. The next book is Leah Johnson's You Should See Me in a Crown. You again will have seen this. I am such a sucker for a BookTube Made Me Buy It book. And when our when our main character wants to get a scholarship to go to an art school, I think it just says Uber Elite College, she knows that she can't get the money. So one of the ways to get the money is to run for prom queen, and it goes from there. The next book I have for you is Wonderland by Juno Dawson, and although there were some slight issues with this book, there was quite a few flippant comments about diabetes and things, which really I didn't like. However, this book is a own voices trans representation book, and there are quite a few bits in it that I thought were really well done, so I had to include that here. I then have Vitor Martins Here the Whole Time. Again, this is my proof copy, so I will put the finished copy on the screen. This is a queer, fat positive romance between a fat boy, Felipe, who falls in love with his neighbour, and then his neighbour comes to stay for the summer. The next is the one and only queer fantasy that I have on this list, but I do have more on my TBR, so hopefully I'll get to them soon. And that's Cinderella is Dead by Kalynn Bayron. I know that this has had really mixed reactions on BookTube, but I loved it. This is a retelling of Cinderella in a way that the story of Cinderella, where Cinderella goes to the ball and meets her prince, is kind of like their Bible. It's what the whole town believes in, and on or around your 16th birthday, you go to the ball and you have to meet your prince to get married and live happily ever after. But our main character knows that she doesn't want to meet a prince. That is not the life that she's after, and we go from there. I then have some old favourites, and they are Noah Can't Even and Noah Could Never by Simon James Green. I've said in videos before, the only way to describe this is the Inbetweeners Will Mackenzie, but he's gay. Another book with bisexual representation is The Love Curse of Melody McIntyre, and this slipped through my radar late last year and then snuck onto my top 10 of the year at the very last minute. Not only is this got bisexual rep, and again, wish there'd have been more girl on girl romance, but this is also that they are putting on a play of Les Mis, and there's just all the theatre stuff that I love, so that's that one. I have got The Art of Being Normal by Lisa Williamson, and look how gorgeous those sprayed edges are. This is the very first book that I read about a trans character, and while this isn't perfect, it isn't own voices, I have heard trans reviewers say that this one is quite good. Like I say, it's not perfect, but I really enjoyed it. My penultimate book is by an auto-buy author for me, and that is Bethany Rutter's Melt My Heart. Again, bisexual main character, but in this one, she falls for a girl. She is working, I can't remember her name, Lily Rose. She is plus size and bisexual, so tick tick for me. And she falls in love with her friend that she's working over the summer with. And last but by no means least, how could I do a BookTube LGBTQIA plus video without mentioning Alice Oseman's The Heartstopper series? So I have all 4 books, and I will insta buy these as soon as they come out. If you haven't heard of Heartstopper, where have you been? It is this beautiful graphic novel of Nick and Charlie, and I have said before that Alice Oseman's talent is her drawing and just how she can put across the facial expressions in not many words, but she just gets it spot on every time. The first book is about, do you know what, I'm just going to read you the blurb. Boy meets boy, boys become friends, boys fall in love, and that is the way to describe it. And then as we move through the series, I just want to show you all the covers because they're gorgeous. I mean, the themes get darker as they go, and there's mental health rep and everything, and these books are just perfect. I couldn't ask for anything else from a queer graphic novel. So those are all the books that I've read in the last, say, 2 years with Queer Rep. They're not the only books that I've read, but they're the ones that I've kept on my shelves because I really, really enjoyed them. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any recommendations for me, please leave them below. And especially, yeah, adult fiction with Queer Rep. That is what I really want. And I don't like, I mean, I would read some smutty books if there's any that are good. But I prefer, like I say, fluffy, contemporary stuff. And I mean, if there was anything like lesbians, but Talia Hibbert, that would be perfection. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give me a like and subscribe below. And until next time, look after yourselves. Bye.